Today we've got an Object 430 match on South Coast. This time just playing by myself. And I'd had a pretty rough time of things at this point, so I was getting a bit frustrated, and lo and behold I end up in a match full of TDs and with a T92 on the enemy team. Not the best match to find myself in. On the plus side, most of our players do appear to have some kind of ability to click enemy tanks. So I decide to head to the east, where I often take my mediums. If I was in a platoon, I could have headed into the middle, but that's not a wise idea when you're solo pubbing, because pubbies won't support you, they won't follow you. For those of you who are good at multitasking, pay attention to the map marker for our IS-8, marked on my XVM as T10. See what he does over the course of this match. We've actually got quite a few things coming this way. A pair of 183s and a T30 that's going to give the enemy a very unpleasant surprise, assuming they actually hit at any rate. Apparently pubbies think it's surprising or anyway noteworthy when Matchmaker doesn't give you two perfectly matched teams, which is stupid because, as I said to that guy, 53-55 is a much better arty than the T92 will ever be. I would rather have the 53-55. Managed to get a quick shot into the 51-20, he's having a very bad day. Unfortunately that one skips probably off the wrong side of his pike, or the bottom of his turret bustle, and now he's behind cover. I back up a little trying to catch the good side of his pike, but he gets hit by our arty right as I'm about to take a shot. It wouldn't have been a guaranteed hit anyway. The Object 430's gun handling on the move is not so good. Thankfully, pretty soon I think, I'm not sure if it's next patch, but it's certainly in a nearby patch, the 430's gun handling will be buffed along with a couple other things. You get a DPM buff to put it closer to the T62's level, and also better gun handling on the move at the expense of just a touch of accuracy while stationary. Trying to get a shot into this E50M here. Unfortunately he's onto me, so it's not happening. But I did at least destroy his cover, so it's easy to see what he's doing now. And it might also scare him into staying behind that rock, or going around the other side of the amphitheater, where I won't have to worry about him. Waffenträger Panzer IV down here. It's a big threat to my team, it's also distracted. So I roll in to try and take it down. I didn't realise it had the E100 gun, but it thankfully gets taken down by our Waffenträger as it tries to get away from me. Now here I'm going to deal with a 50, but I know that JT is still there, don't worry, I haven't forgotten about him. And I know he's probably still looking this way, so I'm taking it slow on the way up, seeing if I can spot him before he sees me. I have much better camera, so I should. And yep, sure enough, there he is. Probably wouldn't have penned even if it had hit him, so it doesn't really matter, but I do make the mistake here of trying again, and he's obviously pre-aimed, and sure enough, bam, straight through me. Now, playing in a gully being aimed at by a JT and an E50 is not really a wise idea, so I decide to vacate the premises. Our team are getting their ass kicked in the west. So I decide to shift over there and try and prop them up for as long as I can. Sadly, I'm not quick enough. We lose our Waffenträger, and a bunch of our other tanks are throwing away hit points. There goes the ST1. We do at least take the E50M, so he's not going to be a threat to me if I come through the middle. These guys don't see me. That was a really poorly aimed shot. Notice the Lorraine doesn't even see me. This thing's camera is absolutely wonderful. Now I'm lit. That's okay, because there's nothing in a position to shoot at me at the moment, except potentially the T-92. Here I decide to try and take the 1390, just so he can't mop up our JT, and so he will stop spotting me. And here you can see the 430's severe turret bloom issues coming into play. These will be a lot less evident after the buff hits it. I believe the 430 actually has comparable turret bloom to the Batchat, which is pretty shocking. Batchat being notorious for being unable to fire while moving or shortly after moving, at least with any degree of useful accuracy. JP is not actually going for me, even though I think he can still see me. So I'll take a blind shot and then just decide it's not worth trying to shoot his front plate, and so I'll move. Here's the IS-8. Now, he's missing about a third of his health, but I'll just go ahead and spoil it. Up until this point, he has not done a single point of damage. I don't even know if he's fired his gun so far, but I know he hasn't done any damage so far, because I know the only shot where he did do damage was later. Get a sneaky shot on the side of that T-30 while he's distracted, and then I'll 183 finishing them off. I have a pretty good idea that the E75 and JP are going to try and shift north and then cut across through the bottleneck, because it would be just stupid to try and come up through the middle in either of those tanks. Sure enough, there goes the E75. Now, he does have a lot more hit points than I'm comfortable with, but at the same time, if he goes up against our IS-8 in that valley, he's going to win easily. Our IS-8's abysmally bad. There's no way he can handle an E75. So, hoping against hope JP isn't looking at me, which it wasn't, thankfully, I start chasing after the E75 to at least distract him while the IS-8 comes to shoot him. Or so I thought. I don't even know why he was looking down at the beach, but it buys me a couple of precious seconds as he traverses his turret all the way around. He must have been playing with some sort of ping issue or something, or maybe had a broken turret, because he just, I don't know. First how slowly he responded to me, and then the way he missed like that. Anyway, there's our IS-8's first and only damaging shot that match, by the way. Finishing a tank I could easily have finished myself. This becomes relevant in a minute when the IS-8 begins shit-talking the entire team, including me. Just to remind you, the IS-8 gets the M62, which is one of the better guns in the game. 440 Alpha, about 260 pen, decent muzzle velocity. Accuracy and handling aren't so good, but they're passable. It also has a typically bouncy Soviet Vol turret. The whole armor's not so good, but the tank itself is quite mobile, and the pike can cause some pretty hilarious bounces. So all in all, it's a very capable tank. Now this guy's been using it to camp in spawn all game, and he's only done one damaging shot on a tank which I had handled. And you can see he's just shit talking that 183, who did actually contribute to the match, which I like him. I'm kind of caught here between a rock and a hard place. If I try and head back to our base to prevent them from getting to our cap, the JT will have side shots and I might get ambushed by the JP as well. If I head into their base to kill the Artie, it'll help us in the long run, but I've got a good chance of getting cut off and then our base being capped out. I decided to go for the Artie because it is a T92 and at the end of the day it would be helpful to get rid of it. That may also give me a chance to slip up behind a Mouse or JT and finish them off. Swing left to try and go around the cap, but then the T92 is lit, so obviously there's no point in stealth now. He sees me, makes a shotgun and misses completely, and so I just take him out as I drive past. The IS-8 meanwhile charges out and suicides in front of the JPE. Now, if you have delicate sensibilities, it might not be advisable to look at chat for the next minute or so, because I was not impressed with that IS-8 at all, and I was not in a good mood. So, I said some things that were not very nice. But he actually shit-talked me just as much, and then continued to shit-talk me after the match, actually. I'm not sure what the C75 is on about. I think he may have actually been talking about me, which is funny because I haven't fired a single gold round. Oh no, I think I have fired one gold round this match, and it wasn't at him. Not only that, but I wasn't hiding all match, I was moving around trying to prop up flanks. Now, he may have even been talking about the IS-8, but the IS-8's not blue. Obviously he's fucking dark red. So I honestly don't know what that E75 was on about. Either way, now I'm quite happily using heat because I don't want to get dunked on by the E100. Unfortunately, he does actually get a shot through me and mine begin bouncing because he figures out how to angle his turret. And the JT's already behind me. There's nothing I can do. So that was a 5,000 damage game. Should have been easily winnable, but our IS-8 stayed in the base all game, drove around aimlessly, fired one damaging shot, and then proceeded to act as though it was the rest of our fault for letting him down, which is really... I don't know. I would want to think that he was trying to troll, but I just don't believe he was. I think he was actually 100% serious when he was calling us all bad and saying it was our fault for losing, and that and talking himself up. I honestly just, I don't know. I mean, Dunning-Kruger effect doesn't even begin to explain some of these people. I did make some mistakes that match, definitely popping up in front of the JT to take that second shot early in the game. That was a huge one. I mean, another 500 hit points would have really come in handy right at the end there. I probably still would have died, but I might have at least got 2 or 3 more shots off. Other than that, I mean, there's only so much you can do. Maybe half, maybe not even that, of the games where it's on you to carry are actually carryable. Especially when you're solo pubbing, quite often you just can't. So, although I did try, and our 183 did try, unfortunately most of our team didn't. And particularly not the IS-8, who I actually ran into again later on in the day. I think it was a couple matches after this actually, so it wasn't too much later. And he did the same thing again, hit in base and threw his team under the bus, then loudly complained about them in chat. Either way, I mean, there's only so much complaining you can do about a 5,000 damage match, whether it's a win or a loss. So I was happy to get that at least. More 4:30 videos on the way. And if you haven't got this tank yet, now that the news has come out that it's definitely going to be receiving a buff, and exactly the kind of buff that it needs to make it really truly competitive, you should definitely look into picking one up. With that said, actually, the buff is going to kind of blur the lines between it and the other two Soviet mediums. The 140 and T62 are almost identical. This is different in that it has bad gun handling on the move and lower DPM, but it has much better armor. And I think its mobility is also a bit better. Obviously the best camo out of all of them. So, I mean, it's keeping its armor, so there's that. It's keeping its camo, but I'm just not sure what that DPM increase is going to mean. I think it might be the death knell for the T62. I mean, this thing's turret is pretty tough itself, and its hull is very tough. So we may start to see the 62 disappear in favour of the 430, but maybe that's just me being overly hopeful. I don't know. If it does end up phasing out the 62, it'll be curious to see what Wargaming do to redress the balance in that situation. Anyway, as ever, thanks for watching. If you do actually enjoy watching me be bad at this game, I have plenty more videos to upload, don't you worry about that. And every now and then I throw up videos of other stuff as well. So thanks for stopping by. If you do actually play this terrible, terrible soul-crushing game, then my condolences and good luck on the field.